question of which is the incumbent is a kind of interesting, bizarre question this time. Trump's been president. Harris hasn't been.
It's weird, isn't it?
It is weird. It makes it hard to figure the dynamics in a way.
Hello, everyone. It's JVL here with Bill Crystal sitting in for Sarah Longwell. Sarah is still out on assignment. Bill, it's good to catch up.
Good to see you, JVL.
Well, are you a little bit concerned at how well everything is going? Because I am.
Of course.
The hairs on the back of my neck standing up.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you in the glass half empty camp in life in general. I suppose. Well, maybe not life in general. That seems a little too much, but certainly in politics, and certainly in politics in the last decade in the United States of America. Right? I mean,
yeah,
it is worth remembering that all kinds of things have happened that we all told ourselves. I think you less so because you were more worried from the very beginning. But me too. I would say I was worried from the beginning. But many of our friends all told themselves, understandably, that can't happen here. No way,
Yeah.
And it kept on happening here. And I hope it can't happen again. And but I never say never. And look, I mean, so the good news for me was Biden's withdrawal was good. Harris has had a very good first, what are we now, 3.5 weeks, right? Almost 4 weeks.
Yeah, almost a month.
Sunday. Yeah, almost a month, yeah. And she's had a good month, and Walz has been a good VP pick, and Trump has been rattled, I think, off his game. And Harris has picked up, 5 points or so net, I would say. Biden was probably down 3. She's now up 2, 3, something like that, 5, 6 net, which is a lot, given how polarized we were and how unbelievably stable the race was, as you pointed out several times, and I have too in our newsletters. Having said all that, she's ahead by 3 points, let's say, 1 or 2 in the swing states. I mean, we're not talking about this is not 1984 with Reagan coasting to victory. So there's plenty that could go wrong, and plenty to worry about, and plenty to. And Trump, for all of it that he's off his game, he's a very clever demagogue in his way, and that worries me.
So
what about you?
Well,
are you one tick more optimistic than I am? One tick more pessimistic? Just kind of worried, nervous?
I'm worried and nervous because that's my default setting about life. But on the other hand, so stipulating, a million things could happen and she could lose. We still don't know what her ceiling is.
Right, I agree with that.
Right. I mean, we're still probably 10 days away from seeing some indication of what the ceiling is, because we're going to have a week of Democratic National Convention. She's going to give a speech that's going to be viewed by probably 40 million people, maybe 50 million people. Every indication so far is that she is up to the job of campaigning. I mean, she's just been a very good candidate so far. And so we'll see. We'll see now, her ceiling could be an artificial ceiling. But then this is sort of a political science question I had for you. I tried talking about it a little bit with Tim and Sam this week, and I don't think they really quite got what I was going at. Most races have a steady state, right? Where just, what the race naturally wants to be. And the actual number moves up and down and ebbs and flows depending upon events and gaffes and just, things that happen. I wonder what the steady state on this race truly is. But more than that, I wonder if we'll ever even see it. Because again, early voting starts in like 4 weeks. We have the Democratic National Convention, then we have 2 weeks, then we have a debate, and then early voting starts. It is possible that this could just be a slingshot all the way through, which would be unprecedented in American politics, I think. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
So I think those are all the right questions, and I think you and I have been thinking about it in similar ways. And I mean, you said in your newsletter that you were struck that Trump got, 46.1, I think, of the percent of the vote in 2016, 46.8 or 9% in 2020. That seems to be kind of where Trump wants to end up. I mean, if you look at the polling, even against Biden, he was ahead a bit, 46, 43. Now he's down a bit, 45, 48, but he's not deviating much from that 45, 46 range. I would say, you could say the natural Trump vote is half between those two, 46.5. You could say the natural Trump vote seems to increase 0.7% each cycle, and maybe it's 47.5, but I kind of get to a 47%-ish natural Trump vote. We don't know what the natural Harris vote is, as you were just saying. I mean, the slingshot is a good metaphor. That has happened in Senate and governor races. People,
yes.
Those have had late primaries sometimes. Someone who's unknown wins and just is an attractive candidate and takes off and wins by 12 points in what was thought to be a competitive race, and the opposite. Someone takes off, falters, not an attractive candidate, goes down. So I think you're right. At the presidential level, where we've had, let's call it normal nominating processes and candidates who are pretty well known by the time they're nominated, right? The Romneys, obviously the incumbent presidents, but even the non-incumbents, Gore and Bush and so forth. By the time they're nominated, you get a little more of a steady state situation, as you put it. So with Harris, I mean, I feel like the steady state situation with Trump and Biden was sort of Trump ahead by 3 points or so. Steady state situation we don't know with Harris. I think you're right to focus, to frame it the way you did, and I would put it this way. If Harris should get a bump out of the next week, I would be worried if Harris were just +3 10 days from now. That would make me think she's hit her ceiling. Presumably they'll have a pretty good convention, but let's just leave that aside for a minute. Assuming they have a decent convention, she should get a couple more points out of that. Maybe she has a lower ceiling than we thought, in a sense. Maybe there's more resistance to Harris for various reasons. One can think of a bunch, ranging from her being kind of the incumbent vice president to Biden, so why should she be that different from Biden, to various other issues with her own policies in the past and her gender and race and so forth. I would be worried, I guess. I would want to see Harris at 5 or 6 after the convention, +5 or 6 after the convention, assuming that might subside back down to 3 or so, but that it would suggest that there is she could afford to lose 1 or 2% of the undecided voters or swingish voters over the next month or two, because she might not either, and maybe she'll hold it 6 or 7 or something, +7. That's not out of the question. I mean, Biden was +4.5. People kind of forget that. It's not crazy that Harris would be a point stronger than Biden, right? I mean, I don't think that people are a little too pessimistic in that side. They looked at that poll for a year showing, a very, very even race and a slight Trump edge, and they just decided, no, the Democrat couldn't win by 6 points. I don't buy that either. I mean, Democrats won Michigan and Pennsylvania by 10 and 15 points in 2022. So I think there's a little more variance than we're accustomed to thinking, because, again, we've never had this situation. One way to put it is I think it's the first time ever, or certainly the first time I know of in my lifetime, I believe, that one ticket, the Democratic ticket, Harris and Walz, has 2 people on it who have never won a vote in a presidential primary. And that's not being critical here. I'm just, Harris got out before the voting started in 2020, and Walz obviously has never run for president. But it's sort of there's more uncertainty in that respect, right? I mean, somehow if someone's run and done well or not done well or shown vulnerabilities, as Hillary did against Sanders or Bush did against McCain in certain ways, you can say, ooh, a little worried about him in the general, or vice versa. If someone just beats Obama, comes from behind to beat Hillary, it's like, ooh, impressive. We don't know with Harris and Walz. We have our sense, and they've had a very good first. Harris had a very good first month, and Walz has had a very good first, I guess, 2 weeks it is right now. But there's more variance, more unpredictability, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what.
Is that what you were sort of getting at? I mean,
yeah, I think so. I think that in order to feel not comfortable but good about the direction of things, she should probably be over 50% coming out of the convention.
I agree.
Right. Because that's the weirdness. I mean, she is the incumbent in a way. Of course, Trump is also
he's the incumbent in a way too. So that's complicated.
Right.
I agree with that.
That's complicated. But again, I mean, I said this in my newsletter yesterday. If you were to strip everything down to the most bare essentials, you would say in this very good economy in which people personally report that they are doing exceptionally well, and whatever their other feelings are about, the broader state of things, and which America is at peace around the world, you would expect an incumbent president to win a comfortable reelection, right? And now we don't live in a stripped down world, but here's the other thing I want to talk about with you. Hey, Sarah, there's more show.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Are we still talking? We have more talking?
We're still talking. The talking goes on, but that's only for the people who are inside the Velvet Rope, the Bulwark Plus members.
Oh, they got to subscribe.
Yeah. Tell them to subscribe. Tell the people,
You should subscribe,
Sarah.
guys. Why wouldn't you subscribe? You get all kinds of things. You get some extra me and JVL. You get some extra me and George Conway. You get JVL's Triad. This is one of the best things the Bulwark offers. I read it at least once or twice a week.
Yes. Go and subscribe. We'd love to have you.